Hey, this is Mike from the band Deceased, and you are watching me on Dethrone Records YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, and share. I am sitting in front of my house in Spotsylvania, Virginia. I've been home now for almost 3 years, coping during the pandemic. I was living in the country of Jordan, working at the American Embassy, and Jordan had one of the stricter lockdowns in the world. So really I was just there with my wife, and I just worked. We had, like I said, a lot of lockdowns, and I was in the country to work, so I coped just fine. I worked my way through the pandemic. It was frustrating because the country was locked down. We could not see our daughters, who were both living in America. But like the rest of the world, we all got through it. And now I'm home now in America. What new music am I listening to? I don't listen to a lot of newer metal. That's because I'm stuck in the old bands. I do love the new Guard record. Who they started as a pure black metal band. I lost interest when they got all weird in around the mid-90s, but their new album is a great combination of atmospheric black metal and a lot of Devil Doll influence, especially in the vocals. So I love that record. I love the new Henrik Palm record, the former guitar player of In Solitude. I've loved every one of his solo records. They're more heavy rock, but with a real Voivod influence. He's awesome, and every new Voivod album that comes out.
This video is sponsored by MORII. Check out these amazing lip stains. They come in 3 stunning shades for powder mattes: Punk Brown, Scarlet Flame and Mulberry Pink. 2 shades for gel tints: Red Wine and Whiskey Brown. Get your hands on these fabulous lip tints and elevate your makeup game. Use this code BM924THRONELIPS to avail special discount. Messages on our Facebook page and order today. Limited stock available, so don't miss out.
Deceased went through a few name changes and members, but we've all talked and decided that Deceased officially formed in 1985. So we're coming up on the 40th anniversary of the band. I joined at the end of 1990, but I've been friends with those guys since before there was a band, Deceased. When Doug Souther left the band, I got in touch, or Mark Adams got in touch with me, and just since we all knew each other from shows, it's a seamless fit. I didn't really try out. I was just in the band all of a sudden. We practiced one practice before we went and did our first interview as a band. I know we did Wasted from Def Leppard, Gut Wrench from Deceased, and it was very loose, but I was in the band. I had my first show less than 2 weeks later at a house party. We used to call them death bashes back in the day, and it was just tons and tons of people, crazy drunken debauchery, and it was a crazy show, but it was a great first show to kind of get initiated into the band. We've gone through a few lineup changes over the years, but the core is me and King Fowley, and the new album had actually every member of the band from the past participate. Mark Adams played some lead guitar, Les Snyder played bass, and the current band. Shane was on guitar. Matt, who plays live and deceased, played some solos. So everybody was involved with this record. Our new album came out a few weeks ago, Children of the Morgue, on Hell's Headbangers Records. And this was a unique album that how we rehearsed for it, wrote for it, was very different from the past. In the old days, the band would practice 2 or 3 times a week. We'd all be together in the same room. We'd work the songs out. Now we literally live all over the United States. I'm the only member that still lives in Virginia. So we've adjusted. Me, King, and Shane will get together in a room once every 6 weeks or so, and I'll bring riffs. The 3 of us will work out a song, and we do a lot of homework. King goes over stuff at home with his editing software. I do stuff at home with harmonies and melodies. Shane does stuff at home. So the album is really kind of created in the studio. We had a pretty basic outline of all the tracks when we went in the studio, which we recorded at Oblivion, where we had done Fearless Undead Machines, Supernatural, Addiction. A lot of our classic records were done there. We worked really well with the engineer Mike Bozier. And the lineup for this record, the core lineup was me on guitar, Shane on guitar, King on vocals, Les on bass, and Amos on drums. But we wanted to include every member of the deceased family. So Mark Adams came in, and actually that was the most memorable part of the record for me, was when Mark came into town for the weekend. The 2 of us hadn't played guitar together in so many years, and we were known as this great guitar team. So it was really cool. Me and Mark just in there knocking out the solos. Matt Eibach, who plays live for deceased, got to come in and do a couple solos. My daughter Jillian, who sang on Ghostly White, the last record, she did some vocal stuff on this new record. So it was super relaxed. We took our time. We were in the studio for over a month, really trying to get the best sounding record we could. King Valley produced it. Me, King, and Mike mixed it, and I think it sounds great. You can get right now the CD and the cassette from Hell's Headbangers, and the double LP version comes out around Halloween.
This video is sponsored by Stabbed by Lilith Piercing. Hurry, get your dream piercings and avail our promo. Get 3 piercings for the price of 999 pesos on 2 ear piercings and 1 face piercing of your choice. Our shop is located at number 58P Seville Street, Palrong, Marikina. We are available for walk-in customers from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. and home service as well. Check now our piercing rates.
What a lot of people have said about our band for years and years and years is we have 1 foot in the old music and 1 foot progressing into the future. And I can't explain how we maintain that sound. It's since I write the majority of the music. It's, I guess, just every influence I take in. I can't pinpoint it. I mean, obviously Voivod, the bands I grew up with, Iron Maiden is where I get a lot of my my melodies from, but Voivod for the weird chord structures. I make up a lot of my own chords. I don't know anything about music theory, so whatever I'm playing, I don't know what kind of chords those are. But we definitely, when we talk about us being a death metal band, it's not the modern, tuned down, real Cookie Monster vocals. That's not our sound. We're from back in the 80s. You called metal church was called death metal for a minute. Celtic Frost was called death metal. It ranged, and so the lyrics are predominantly about death. So that's why we still consider ourselves a death metal band. I mentioned before how we write music very differently now, since we're not all in the same room. It was an experiment with this record to see how it would work, and we all agreed that it worked pretty well, but it means a lot more homework for each of the members. So I write tons of riffs. Some of them I put together as longer pieces of music, and there are times when I'll drive up to Philadelphia, which is like 4 hours away, where King lives, and he and I will go through the riffs together before we have a practice later that week. And other times I just show up at the rehearsal with me, Shane, and King and show them my riffs. We've been writing songs so long together, especially King and I, that we just kind of know each other's instincts, and we always say, wow, this song is writing itself, because it seems to be flowing so well. After that, King goes home with those rehearsal tapes, and he can edit on his software to like, okay, we're going to do this part 3 times. That's going to be the verse. This is going to be the chorus. And he sends us those files. We do our homework at home. So we jumped into the modern era in that respect, but it still starts with me, King, and Shane getting together in a room and knocking out the skeleton of the song. We know when it's done, when it just feels right. Yeah, we tend to write longer songs, but we do have to edit ourselves. So it's natural instinct when we know a song is done. In regards to AI and how it's influencing metal, well, influencing the world, it's still new. It's a newer technology that's coming into our lives, so it's pretty raw right now. The only thing I've seen with metal, I've seen people complain about album covers that are AI, and the covers I saw were kind of goofy looking. That's not what we're interested in, but we just have to wait and see how it incorporates into every part of our life, not just metal. Memorable gigs I've attended or played. Well, I've attended a lot of memorable gigs. I got to see Iron Maiden with Paul Di'Anno. I got to see AC/DC with Bon Scott. I saw Slayer on the second date of the Hell Awaits tour when they were just in a van, and me and my buddy were too young to get in, and they got us in the show. A lot of really cool gigs when I was younger. I met King at the front of the stage at a Merciful Fate Exciter show in 1984. That was their first trip over to the U.S. So it was memorable because the show was amazing, but that's where King and I started our friendship. As far as the gigs I played that are memorable, I always Wacken, playing the Wacken Fest in Germany was amazing. But my last show before I retired from playing live was CBGB's before it closed down, and that was one of my favorite clubs to ever play. Whenever we played there, just the crowd was so close to you, and you fed off that energy. It was a great final show to go out on. But having said that, I am going back to playing live soon. And then a couple years ago, we had a special show that was being filmed for a documentary where a lot of the past members all came back, and the current touring band, we all played together. We played a couple songs. My daughter sang, and it was so stress-free and fun that it made me think I wanted to go back to playing live again. So that will always be a special night for me. Favorite books, favorite movies, favorite TV shows. Well, my favorite movies are the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and my favorite book is Lord of the Rings. I've read it probably 15 to 20 times. There was a point in my life where as soon as I finished reading it, I started it over again. But now I read it every 2 or 3 years. I give it a reread. And the movies, it's a special connection between my oldest daughter and I, and we try to watch the movies every December. That's the month that they came out when we saw them in the theaters. Favorite TV shows, there's so many great shows. Probably my favorite is The Sopranos. Again, so many great shows, but The Sopranos I can rewatch every few years and get excited about watching it again. Thank you everybody for watching this, and thank you for Dethrone Records for asking me to participate in this interview. Please go to his channel, like it, and subscribe to it and watch it. Our new album, Children of the Morgue, out now on Hell's Headbangers Records. Double vinyl coming out in a few weeks. We've got a tour coming up in December that will be around the East Coast of the United States, and then next year for the 40th anniversary of the band, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, multiple tours in Europe, in the US, in Canada, with different versions of the band. Because it is the 40th anniversary, we're going to try to do some shows with all the original members, and there will also be a box set coming out with a bunch of older tracks. We're going to record a couple of new songs. We're going to record some covers. I know we're doing a Venom cover and a Black Sabbath cover. Again, that's celebrating the 40th anniversary of the band, and that will also be on Hell's Headbangers Records, best label in the US. So come out and see us.